Buzz Beeman here, announcing spring has sprung, and TC Streets has a fever. Spring fever, that is. We're burning with desire to show you episode 14 of TC Streets. Fred Fallouni reviews the upcoming summer movie blockbuster, Nowhere to Hide. Quiet Tim Cotton gives tips on how to keep yourself safe in the city. Robles the Clown and his son, international action film star Brick, tell you what's in their go bag. There's the events calendar, an unhappy birthday. We talk with the psychoanalyst who cares for St. Paul and Minneapolis' city councils, and much, much more. So crank up your soundbar and throw a few plates. It's TC Streets time.
Hello, I'm Rebels the Clown, and I'm on set today with my son, international action star Brick. We're here to offer those who will listen advice on how to live on the run. We'd like to thank our sponsor for the program, Survival of the Fittest. In this segment called Go Bag Got One, we will offer you 5 tips on how to remain free and fit as a fiddle should the pesky apocalyptic prognostications come true. First, we take an unusual approach right from the start. Our go bag is a Spitball Bob costume, which can be picked up at any Survival of the Fittest or any MLB store or stadium throughout the country. Brick and I can dump our belongings and be in disguise in under a minute. We've taken it out on a couple of test runs and have received literally buckets of popcorn and peanuts at ballparks throughout the country. If there's baseball after the apocalypse, the free meals would definitely come in handy. Second, as you know, even in good times, my son Brick always carries a knife. I've asked him, why not a gun? He says, I wouldn't be much use if I was deaf. He has a point. He's usually right around my head, and I am a subpar mime. Third, we like to carry a bottle of champagne for the ladies. You know, even in a landscape of devastation or a back alley, it's the little things that matter to the ladies, like champagne and not farting on the first date. Fourth, I insist we carry a computer for obvious informational uses, but also due to the fact that I've written a 20-minute comedy bit using the computer as a prop in the event any rogue or non-rogue government should detonate an atomic bomb in low Earth orbit and wipe out the internet. The bit's so good, I almost want it to happen. Here's a little taste. The internet is out. I open the computer, hit a few button keys, and say, they were right. Without the internet, life isn't worth living. Then I took out my 5th go bag item, a toy gun, and I point it at the audience. Demand from them anything I deem of value and tell them to walk away slowly. That, my friends, is how me and my son Brick plan to roll in case of an emergency. Oh yeah, I forgot one important tip known to all survivalists. If there's smoke coming out of the ground, there's a tech bro down there. Robles the Clown, thanking you and the sponsors, Survival of the Fittest, for this segment of Go Bag. Got one? Fuck you, Robles. You'd be no help during the apocalypse.
I'm Fred Fallouni, and I'm back with another movie review. This week, we're looking into this summer's blockbuster, Nowhere to Hide. This movie was deeply unsettling because, unfortunately, it may prove prophetic. First, spoiler alert, I will be revealing the plotline. Opening scene, skeletal remains with only the leanest tidbits of meat on the bone. By the end of the scene, even these tidbits have been devoured. I'm thinking, great film quality, but do I have to watch another Cartel or Fire Ant movie? Cue the second scene. New York skyscraper. Ants slowly blotting out the sun as they crawl to the top of the penthouse windows. This is bad enough until they start coming out of the vents and under the door. Next come the scene that I haven't quite been able to shake. It's the lab scene. It's not what you're thinking. It isn't an entomology lab. There aren't ants in clear ant boxes. I don't know what they're called, but they aren't called aquariums. But that's beside the point. It's a computer lab that has a low hum of ant communication in the background. A team of scientists is screaming and frantically fingering the keyboards of their computers. Within minutes, it's clear the human race has ceased to exist. Throughout the rest of the movie, you're shown how the scientists have used AI to communicate with the hive mind of the ant community and have unfortunately given them consciousness. With that consciousness, the ants grasp their power, and let's say they aren't happy with prior human treatment. I don't know about you, but after this movie, I'm living every day as if it were my last, including a cyanide capsule I now always have at the ready. After nowhere to hide, I just hope AI does it quickly and not with ants. Fred Ferluni signing off saying, "You may not see me again, but if you do, I'll be drugged. I can't stop shaking." God is a woman. A man would never be that forgiving. Hello, Daddy. It's Sheila. Sheila Ernster. Well, Daddy, I'm calling because I'm thinking of getting back in the game. No, not the pinochle game. The game. No, I really don't have anyone in mind. But I hit my head last week and suddenly the juices started flowing again. Yeah, I haven't felt this young in decades. So you see, I'm wondering if you still have those Jane Fonda workout tapes. I feel I'll need to limber up and build my stamina, especially if I can beg that mailman. Yeah, the one with the mustache. I agree. Yeah, you caught me. I'm smitten. Okay, I'll meet you in the dining hall. I'll buy you a Jell-O. Yes, with Cool Whip.
Hello, I'm Jerome the Guinea Pig, and I'm here today for some tests. Hopefully they won't be as hurt as bad as the last test. Something to do with my hip.
Tell me
is John Chen, reporting from Great Wall of China. In a new take on American idea of supply and demand, Chinese President Xi has told the Great Orange One, "We keep supply, you keep demands." Breaking news. Ernie Crenshaw says the chicken and the egg occurred simultaneously because that's how the universe started. Ernie calls it the nothing something theory.
Hello, I'm Quiet Tim Cotton, and I'm here today to endorse the Funny Comb. I've been using the Funny Comb for about a month now, and the results are really great. When loud teenagers and low-level riffraff approach me, I simply pull out the Funny Comb. 9 times out of 10, the disruptive bunch backs away slowly and then flees. I've had no problem dispersing the others with my 357. I find the Funny Comb most comforting at this point. As the rebel is fleeing, I simply push this button and enjoy the soothing effects of proper hair management. As I comb my hair, I daydream about my favorite of President Trump's wives, Melania. And in my dreams, I'm snuggling with Melania as we're being pulled on a sled by a pack of Siberian Huskies across the cool, barren plains of Slovenia. Also, since I've begun carrying the Funny Comb, I'm off my medication. So, the Funny Comb has paid for itself 1,000 times over. Quiet Tim Cotton wishing you all the best. And I say, try the Funny Comb. It's scary, funny, and soothing.
World breaking news. There are no frowns in Nice. I presumed it was the name of the town, but scientists say it's the underpants thing. Hi, I'm Buzz Beeman, and today we are venturing out to the corner of University and Snelling in St. Paul to look at architecture. Specifically, we're fastening our eyes on the Spruce Tree Center. Built in 1988, the 126,000 square foot building with 350 parking spaces was supposed to be St. Paul's answer to Minneapolis's 7 Corners. Unfortunately, it proved to be St. Paul's answer to Minneapolis's public bathhouses.
Wait.
For you see, Spruce Tree Center's exterior is clad, I kid you not, in gigantic green German bathroom tiles, which are in a pattern that is supposed to resemble an abstract spruce tree, the family emblem of the builders, Marie and Harold Slavic. Somehow conflating the worst aspects of sin and penance, Spruce Tree Center moves one to wash one's hands compulsively, which is ironic, considering there are no on-site public restrooms. In 2011, Reuters reported that Spruce Tree Center was the 4th ugliest building in the world. A Star Tribune poll was slightly better, calling it the 7th ugliest building in the Twin Cities. Quotes from the Star Tribune article include, "It's personified bad taste. Looks like a tawdry example of what a bus station tiled restroom would look like. Spectacularly, ambitiously ugly." Our friend Larry Millett said, "It deserves respect because it made a statement." That sounds like something a Charles Manson fan would say. It leaves one wondering, is it uglier than the building across the street? Maybe architecture is somewhat subjective. Or maybe Spruce Tree's ugliness has somehow rubbed off on the building across the street. The world is full of little miracles. We didn't know that trees could communicate with each other until fairly recently. And that all happened because a future scientist fell into a hole as a young kid and was amazed by the root systems she saw. I've been in a lot of holes, and the only thing that ever amazed me was that I made it out. I've gone afield. There's something about Spruce Tree Center that knocks me off center. If I were a giant, I would piss on it. Not out of anger, but out of confusion. Ah, well, maybe a more lighthearted look at Spruce Tree Center is in order. After all, it didn't design itself. How about a joke? Why did the chicken cross the road? To get away from Spruce Tree Center. Now for some numbers. Designed by a Minneapolis architect firm, BRW, it's said to have lowered housing costs in the Midway area by nearly 8%. Construction began in 1987 with an expected cost of $21 million, including $3 million in TIF. It sold in 1992 for $1.5 million to a Boston real estate company. It's rumored the Boston real estate company bought it because the exterior tile matched the jerseys of the Boston Celtics. Sold again in 1994 with half the building occupied, it found its footing in 1996 when it was sold and a physical therapy company put a pool in on the first floor. Finally, Spruce Tree Center fulfilled its promise as a public bathhouse. In conclusion, the exterior clock with mandated 6-foot arms that has never quite kept time reminds St. Paulites. Those architects in Minneapolis are a sneaky bunch. Citing a female depression rate twice as high as males, science has proven conclusively the female of the species is more intelligent. I was blowing out my birthday candles. My crazy uncle leaned over and whispered into my ear, "Wish for it all. Wishes never come true. I'm here, aren't I?" World breaking news. There is no mold in Greece. And yet, oddly, a lot of warts. Buzz Beeman, thanks for watching. That was a fine show, and we're going to let you finish it off with Harmon Brothers. They're going to take it out with Good Timin'.
This song is a song about the year we were born. Good timing, hitching a ride to the movies. Good timing, getting on real groovy. Good timing for you, good timing for me, good timing for us. Good timing 63. Squeezing the county highways, backsliding, taking the hard ones my way. Good timing for you, good timing for me, good timing for us, good timing for you. Beating the well-worn trail, nice flying, hunting low for the tail. Good timing for you, good timing for me, good timing for us, good timing 83.
good time. Everybody's having a good